Hi everyone, Simon Keeling here, and thanks for watching again. Just want to take you through the outlook for the next 10 days to 2 weeks as we get into the beginning part of November. I'm starting to detect some changes now in the weather. I think it's probably going to be about the 9th or the 10th that we start to see some cooler weather potentially come on in, and then probably towards the middle of November before we see things settling down to any extent. It's just a hint at the moment that I'm getting from the models, but I'll keep you updated. I'll show you the reasons for that over the next few days. What I wanted to do today, though, is just to show you the similarities between two models here. This is the 7 to 10 day mean forecast chart from the ECMWF model on the left here and the GFS model here on the right. Now, just rid of myself there, and quite a bit of similarity between the two. So what we're looking at here are the period from next Sunday, so that'll be the 6th, through till the following Wednesday, the 9th of November. And these are the 500 millibar heights and anomalies, and British Isles is underneath here, look. Now notice how both of them have got a trough out towards the west of the country with lower than normal heights here, higher than normal heights out towards the east. Now what these higher than normal heights show is high pressure over Central Europe, and this is a blocking area of high pressure, which means that anything tries to get in from the Atlantic here is being blocked off by this high and being squeezed up across the British Isles. Now what that means for us is that rainfall tends to stay to the west of the country or affecting western parts of the country, with the east being generally drier. So if we take a look at the rainfall chart for the next few days, for the 7 to 10 day period, let me just show you that, bring that up here. Here we go, look. Notice how this is the period from today through to next Sunday, and look, most of the rainfall affecting most of the country. This is total rainfall, so given around the 30 to 50 millimeter mark here, 10 to 20 towards the east in the next week, and that looks pretty feasible. And then for the week after, again, it's western areas seeing most of the rain, little out or less out towards the east of the country, and the anomaly picks up quite nicely on that as well, because it shows below normal rainfall, look, for northern and eastern Scotland and for much of eastern and central England, but generally near a normal totals elsewhere. And this is exactly what you'd expect to see with a big blocking high over Europe. And in fact, you see the effect of that high over Eastern Europe. Look, all these red colours here showing rainfall well below normal of only 10 to 20%. So a real dry, frosty, probably quite foggy period of weather coming out over Eastern Europe. Now I mentioned frost there. That also starts to have implications, because this time of year, of course, the sun is disappearing quite rapidly southwards, so we lose quite a bit of heat out here in Europe during this time. Now, if this happens and the mainland part of Europe becomes very cold, and then we pick up an easterly wind, those winds are colder coming into the British Isles. So what we have to watch for is the risk of an easterly wind developing mid to late on in the month, coming across the country and bringing us suddenly a very cold second half of the month. It's something that I'll be watching quite closely. That's not to say it's going to happen. It could be just as likely that westerly set in, but I think we just need to be aware of these falls off in temperatures that could take place across Central and Eastern Europe during the next few days, and the result of easterly winds, if they do develop, coming in across the British Isles later on in the month. Now, as far as confidence in the model is concerned, this is the comparison between them all. This is valid for midnight on Saturday. So this is Saturday the 5th, bonfire night. So this is going from Friday into Saturday. We've got the GFS model here. We have the Canadian model here. We've got the UKMO model down here and the ECMWF model here. Now these are from weatheronline.co.uk. They're all valid for the same time. And you see how they're all going with this idea of low pressure out towards the west of the country, look. There we go. And high pressure towards the east. However, subtle differences between the two. GFS keeping this low further westwards, keeping the dry weather towards the east, but just look what the Canadian model does. It develops a little low all of its very own across the British Isles. That could bring some very unsettled weather if that came true. I have to say I'm not entirely convinced by that. The UK Met Office and the ECMWF both have us within low pressure. So I think we can accept these probably as being about right. So I think GFS probably has it a little bit dry, particularly for the east. I think for many of us it is going to be a damp and unsettled spell of weather that comes. Western areas probably seeing most of that. Okay, let's just run through the charts for the next few days and take a look and see what is on them. And this is how this is how things shape up. Look, the time of the charts is in the top corner here. There we go, look. So if we just knock them forwards, notice how this is the front that comes into the west during the course of tomorrow. Watch what happens to that feature as it goes eastwards. It fades away, so virtually nothing left on it by Tuesday evening. Into Wednesday, low pressure still out to the west of the country. We've got some heavy spells of rain developing out towards the west, and this ties in nicely with what we're seeing in the 500 millibar charts. But look at this southerly flow, and look how strong it is. The winds, remember, rotating around the low like so, bringing strong southerly winds across the country during the course of Wednesday. It will be very mild with the rain staying out to the west. However, during Wednesday night into Thursday morning, the rain is going to be spreading its way eastwards, so that looks like quite a wet spell of weather for Thursday morning, but then dry, showery weather following from the west during the course of Thursday, and probably becoming cooler then as well as the winds go into the southwest. I think some showers for western and southern areas, but inland it should be drier. And then as we get into the weekend, we've just seen the charts, of course, for the weekend. There's low pressure. Look, remember me saying about the GFS perhaps keeping that a little bit too far to the west. It brings in outbreaks of rain, look, for the weekend, particularly down towards the south of the country. I actually think this area is probably going to be a little bit further north. So I think northern England southwards, Northern Ireland southwards, all of southern England and Wales at threat of rain during the course of Saturday, with dry conditions across Scotland. And then into the following week, this is quite a nice idea. Look, high pressure building through Scotland across the northern North Sea, low pressure staying down there over central parts of France, and this easterly flow starting to develop. That to me looks realistic, and in fact the GFS holds on to that sort of pattern as we get through into the following week, so around the 8th, 9th period. I actually suspect, I wonder if this high is going to be staying out towards the east even as we get into the 8th and 9th period, and if we do start to pick up east to southeasterly winds, and perhaps this high trying to topple its way back westwards through the country during the course of that week, so the week beginning around about the 10th, 11th, that could be a change of weather for that middle part of the month, becoming drier, becoming frostier, misty, fog, and that fog slow to clear during the day before turning more unsettled towards the end of the month. Okay, that seems to be where things are going at the moment. I hope that's been useful for you. I know there was lots of information there. Now don't forget that this service is kept free of charge by the advertisers that you see around the screen here. If you see an advert you like, do click on it, show your support for the advertisers and show your support for the site. Hope that's been useful for you. Do keep the sun shining, and thanks for watching.